Hi, family. Fifi here from wellnessparlor.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. That's the celebratory sound, okay? So, the whole point of this channel is really to be able to give tips, tricks, and techniques that I use in therapy with my clients to be able to help you at home, okay? I do realize that therapy can either for time reasons or for monetary reasons can be an unreachable target for many. So I decided to start the channel so that you could have a place where you're able to find some value and get inquiries answered and things like that. Okay, now for our very first video, I'd like to just make it clear what therapy is. Okay, now therapy traditionally is anything that is able to help you, okay, help you get from point A to point B. That might just be in terms of decision making. It could be in, literally in terms of moving. Maybe you have an attachment to one place and you need to be somewhere else, so you might need therapy to help you get from point A to point B. It could be literally, metaphorically, spiritually. Okay, now anything can be deemed as therapy. I know it sounds a little bit strange, might be a new concept to some, but anything can be deemed as therapy, especially during the times that we are now. I've really had to broaden my scope about regarding the understanding of what therapy is and what it means to some people. So I have clients that are all over the place, all over the world. I do distant healing as well, and a lot of my clients, they're not able to get to me, right? So we have to do things via Zoom, so on and so forth. And the therapies that I practice has changed somewhat in terms of now I have to be more resourceful about the type of ways that I can give my clients, the type of things that I tell them that's going to help them to relieve the pressure and stress in their lives. So this very first video will be talking about the different types of therapy that there are. And I don't mean the in terms of psychiatry and things like that. I'm talking about things that you could do from your own home, okay? That are very simple, that can really help with the mental load that you're dealing with. So, the first example is art, okay? And that can be split up into many different categories. So, you have painting, drawing, you have mandala art, you have oil paintings, you have scrapbooking. All these things come under the umbrella of art. And this is one of the ways that now I'm really getting my clients into doing other forms of therapy in addition to talk therapy, right? So I'm getting them to just go on YouTube and type in sketch a dog or sketch a rabbit, sketch a tree, paint a landscape, so that they can utilize what seems to be very trivial and childish in a way that is going to help them. Now, what people don't realize is, sometimes we give too little respect to childlike activities. And what I mean by that is, it might sound strange to a lot of people to say, pick up some pastels or a pencil and begin to draw. That might seem counterproductive because, they might be thinking, well, I have this meeting and I have this deadline and you're telling me to draw. And I have to explain to them that the reason for that is simply because when you are in work mode, there are particular areas of the brain that become activated, right? Now, when you're in a stressful work environment, those areas might tend to be overworked, right? Leaving you very little space for solutions and new thinking that can get you out of the problem. But I have realized that when art comes into play, whether it comes by sketching, painting, so on and so forth, you now are integrating both aspects of your brain, right? So the one side is for creativity and the other side is for more formal tasks. And when you do art on a regular basis, what tends to happen is that you've now broadened your scope on how you deal with your everyday life. And in my experience, the overwhelm doesn't come as much when you are engaged in artistic activities, because now it's like you're stretching the areas that your brain can pull inspiration from. So I've found that art has been very beneficial, you know. In addition to that, working with your hands, maybe pottery, maybe clay work, maybe sewing, um, was it braiding, you know, some the what's it called, like the straw braiding, you know, the making of baskets and things like that. This time has really been a time of resourcefulness for a lot of us, which means that we're having to pull on things that we did not think were very important before, but now is playing an integral part of our sanity and maintaining a healthy balance in the mind and thus in our lives, right? So all in all, there are many different types of therapy, but the simplest therapy can be done with things that are around your home, like pen and paper, pencil and paper. You find that picking up the things that you love to do as a child, picking that up now as an adult, it tends to rejuvenate you once the judgment is taken away, right? So there's a rejuvenation that tends to happen, a newness. It's like you're bringing new energy into your life when you make time out every night after dinner for 1 hour to just sketch, just paint, just draw. A lot of my clients have reported that having that type of transition time at the end of the day has given them great decompression from the pressures of the day. You know, they're reporting that after maybe a week, maximum a week, to be honest, for most people is after day one, day two, they tend to find there's a new lightness in them regarding, you know, how they operate, how they choose to go about their lives. They tend to be a lot less encumbered and pressured in going about their daily life once they start to integrate, you know, art as therapy. I know that a few years ago there was a huge boom in adult coloring books, and I know that it was, you know, looked down upon by some, but there is something there because when you are able to create again and use color again from scratch, the same joy that comes for young children is the same joy and innocence that adults can experience once they integrate art back into their lives. Okay, so you know, the idea of therapy can be something that is very much stiff and scary for some, but I'm here to let you know that there are many different types of therapy. There are different forms of therapy, and there are many simple things that you could do from the comfort of your own home to help you deal with the trials and tribulations of life. And as such, you know, I hope that this channel will take us on the journey of the simple unravelings of our traumas and simple ways of us beginning to deal with said traumas. I do have a list that is already made of potential videos that I'd like to make. They're going to be very short and sweet and simple, okay? And to the point, to really help you to feel empowered when dealing with the challenges that your life might present as a result of past traumas. Okay, so for video number one, I'd like you to pick up some pen, some paper, some pencils, and just begin to sketch or paint or draw. Pick up your thread, your embroidery thread. You can do, what's it called? That stitching on the round thing where you make, I can't remember, it's like a cross stitching. Yes, cross stitching. You could do like jumbo knitting, all these things. There's a reason that when we were growing up, we witnessed the elders in our families having these types of activities. We didn't understand it then, but now more and more people are beginning to understand why Granny used to like knit, why Auntie used to like cross stitch, why why Auntie used to have a whole heap of embroidery thread, and just be using it to create different things, seemingly without purpose back in the day. But now we understand that the brain needs to be able to switch off from just one type of activity. And a lot of people are working from home, which means that the days are going to meld into each other, right? So there's no such thing as time off now for a lot of people. But I have been encouraging my clients vehemently to make sure that they have a cutoff time for work and they have a cut on time for when they will have their creative pursuits. It just takes maybe an hour a day, maybe. As you go on and you get more and more into it, you might decide to stretch it out to two. But you need to have that boundary in your life between the overwhelm of work and the lightness of play. Okay? So thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel, and I hope you subscribe and like and share and all that good stuff. And I'll see you next week. Bye.